We'll look into a scenario in which Asia has a civil war. Only Asia can get involved, and China starts firing on foreign ships coming through its territorial water, which leads to countries like, well, Vietnam, the Philippines, meaning they're at war because they struck their cruisers. Well, and Taiwan. And it means Malaysia gets involved and Brunei. But Brunei would have to. Well, China, Myanmar agrees with China. North Korea does, which that's a big problem because it leads to more countries getting involved. And, well, Laos and Cambodia get involved on China's side. Pakistan, which the problem is, Uzbekistan is like, yeah. But Kyrgyzstan is like that. And then they're like that. I believe those two are at war, I think. Armenia joins. Azerbaijan joins. Georgia joins. Turkey joins. Well, Turkey is mostly in Asia. And Russia joins because, well, on China's side, because, well, they're also a dictator. And, well, they get the North Korea, Central Asia on their side, and Kazakhstan. The Taliban join their side. Iran joins that side. Israel joins that side because they're friends with Saudi Arabia. And, well, India. And then Syria joins the red team. All the axis of resistance. Most Saudi Arabian allies in the Middle East. All of the what's the pact called? The Peninsula Shield Force joins. Well, Iraq and Yemen join Iran's side. Countries like Bhutan and Nepal join their side. Bangladesh joins India's side. Well, Sri Lanka joins their side. Then we have Indonesia. What would Indonesia do? I mean, this island has more people than Russia. Well, they do join the blue team as well. Because, well, and East Timor joins the blue team. Don't want to be invaded again. Australia is like watching us, like, I hope they don't come down there. And well, Mongolia joins the blue team because why not? Which was a bad idea. Well, one of the first things that happens is, well, Chinese forces, which were prepared, march into Vietnam, which you would think they would only come from the north, but they land in the south. And, well, they connect with Cambodia. Well, the Vietnam campaign was all prepared. But you think Vietnam invading is easy? Yes, again. Because what do mountainous jungles do? Oh yeah, they do this. With it being hard to control. Well, they managed to start an offensive then. Well, Pakistan was completely ready. That's weird. So Pakistan starts an offensive into India, along with China, who pushes in from the north. But they get this far on this side, and they don't get real far on the other side. Israel, who keeps managing to make its enemies look weak, well, what do you think they do? They make them look weak, of course, because weakness is great. And never give ideas to anyone. Well, yeah, you could. Well, a push in the Myanmar is started by a small band of forces from India, Thai forces, and, well, Bangladesh forces. Well, they push up to here, but China has a strong foothold in northern Myanmar for some reason. They continue their push into Vietnam, encircling, but nobody surrenders because they don't have to. In some countries, have certain rules they follow. Vietnam, never surrender, we stop the Mongols. Well, to protect, well, its forces in Vietnam, they push into there. They don't go any farther. Taiwan is just standing there because, well, the amphibious landing hasn't happened, preparing. Well, North Korea runs into South Korea, but then Japan gets access to the South. And basically 90% of the forces in that region are Japanese. Well, some guerrilla fighters break out throughout South Korea, not wanting to live in this world, but the only forces that manage to hold on are the coastal ones, which barely manage to. So, Seoul in that area, these forces were taken out, these two. Well, Japan sends forces to hold on to it. No, they can't do much, but they manage to secure this area. That'll be great for the liberation in the future, but till then, let's see. Mongolia. It's turn. Mongolia. I'm going to reform the Mongol Empire, China and Russia. Well, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan surrounded on all sides. Basically, just fall. Russia had already started its campaign into Georgia, but it pushes in. And then, well, Azerbaijan falls. Well, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel start a campaign into Syria, which is easy because they already have forces in. So they basically overwhelm the enemy in Syria. They hold out there. Well, Kuwait falls, and Saudi Arabia starts getting pushed back on the coast. Israel is doing pretty good. Well, they took out Palestine, that's plus. Saudi Arabia. Oh, I misclicked. And then they take out Yemen, because why not? Well, a front line is stabilized. Turkey luckily has a huge percentage of people who are willing to fight for Turkey. Well, China's gaining more land in Vietnam. But then forces break out here. Guerrilla forces, which are successful. And they cut the forces in two. More guerrilla fighters break out here because seeing the success. Well, the only thing holding Vietnam together is these tiny pockets that won't fall. So China is wasting resources, but they continue their campaign. Well, Indonesia joined, the blue team because it did. Well, China makes a landing in the northern Philippines, quickly taking Manila, which is a huge blow to the blue team. But the blue team is still fine, as the Philippines are just watched in the distance fall. And then an invasion of Malaysia started, trying to take the straits. I guess they're doing good. But then there's this huge idea. Inspired by pirates? Well, now there's pirate fighters. Well, we can look at naval dominance. Well, naval dominance is for the red team. Well, in this area, if we look at naval dominance, well, it's somewhat like this. No, it's around here. Well, since the north of Russia is pretty much not needed to look at, well, another area here. Okay, I messed it up, but you get the point. All of the world's oceans are controlled by the red team. Not true, but it would be fun. Weird. Yes, what's people's favorite thing for entertainment? Blood. The bloodier, the more entertainment, definitely. Not true, but besides that, Iran maintains its naval dominance in the Persian Sea. Well, the Caspian Sea we don't need to worry about. Well, Russia maintains its naval dominance here. Well, the forces we will more so worry about will be the ones that we... Well, let's just say we need to do it quick. And they put a blockade on, well, Iran. Which, this is a quick overview of it, more so than... Well, naval dominance is a big concern now. And as well, Japan is able to easily maintain areas. They're not able to create a naval dominance over big areas of here because China manages to hold this territory. Well, some Vietnamese fishermen start fighting. Who knew there was such thing as ocean gorilla fighting? Well, they managed to push up with Indonesian forces to manage to hold these areas. That doesn't do much to stop, well, China's naval dominance. Oh, the naval dominance, Iran, Pakistan, pretty isolated, their navies like almost completely destroyed. With naval dominance cutting the Persian Gulf in two. But on land, Iran still maintains dominance over Saudi Arabia. Naval dominance is very important. And so is air domination, but they don't have it. Turkey's navy completely takes the Black Sea fleet apart. Takes Crimea while they're at it. And then they make a naval landing here in Russia. Well, I guess Russia isn't having the best day today. Within weeks, the Turks start raids in Armenia, and they're somehow walking through the mountains. I don't know how this is logistically possible. Well, I guess anything is logistically possible. Ask the Americans. They'll tell you what's logistically possible. It's the Americans, well, they can do anything. Great. And, well, this is a huge strategic blow to the red team. Because these forces are then encircled. And then taken out. And so, Syria completely falls. Now Iran starts sweeping down. And they sweep down here. Mostly to make it harder for forces to escape. But with they basically run out and run down. Well, in northern Iran and northern Iraq, they also do the same thing. With the navy of Iran completely destroyed. Pakistan's crippled. And while Saudi Arabia continues its major push against a demilitarized Iraq whose capital is encircled. So their capital is taken. Well, that's great. There's a big breakthrough on the India-Pakistan front after India makes major gains. The navy is then completely destroyed. India establishes itself naval air domination and pushes in. And quickly they capture Karachi, the biggest city. Well, the problem with that is that, they're using naval forces in Pakistan. Working pretty well, I guess. With them almost pushing to Iran's border and touching Afghanistan. Well, Afghanistan is a graveyard of empire, so they decide maybe it's best not to touch it. And they take the oil-rich region, the biggest strategic blow of the war, to, the red team. And then Saudi Arabia makes a bunch of naval landings across the coast. Iran is unable to stop because, they don't have naval dominance. With India's forces crossing into Iran and all the coast forces linking up. And pushing up on this side of the mountains. While we have the north heading over towards Tehran, or the capital of Iran. And then all the mountain areas just fall as there's no military, and Tehran is now covered, encircled, and they push them out. Well, Russia does send in forces along with Taliban Afghanistan, and they managed to take quite a bit of land. Reestablishing the country in the north. Well, more Korean guerrillas break out. Some even along the border, some in North Korea even. And, well, they call this the worst day, the bloodiest part of the war. With Japanese forces, guerrilla fighters managed to liberate much of Korea. And in the north, where there's guerrilla fighters, well, they want unity. Well, China, unfortunately, loses naval dominance. All these forces are encircled and then taken. They all surrender or die. Mostly surrendered, as well. The North Korean morale is 0. Well, with the Russian Navy pushed back too. Horrendously, actually. In months, they managed to push them back to here in the waters. With the full Pacific Fleet being destroyed for the second time in history. Well, there's no forces here, so that's just water. Well, with this issue, well, Indonesia manages to push them out, along with Malaysia. Pushing them out of Malaysia's borders, and they push up into the Philippines. You know how they got there? Because they established naval dominance first. So, basically, you want to see what the naval dominance looks like? Oh, like this. With a big part of the Chinese Navy, well, encircled. Well, with this, troops can reorganize. Well, the forces we're trying to do the encirclement, surrender. All weapons are seized. The deal basically is surrender and seize all weapons. Now, this being a humongous strategic defeat. Well, they push in. The south area of Vietnam is liberated. Forces are kicked out of this area, and with Vietnam guerrilla fighters help, well, they managed to encircle forces in Vietnam. Well, naval fighting rages on, and well, they're completely encircled because there's no way they can get them out. Which leads to a full strategic meltdown. Strategies. Well, China says they're doing a strategic retreat by retreating all forces out of Jammu and Kashmir and out of, well, here. Well, maybe. Nobody knows what's going on. No. Pakistan is taken out. Forces do manage to enter Afghanistan, but can't get any further because, well, they know the risks. And they push in here because troops are fleeing back, worried of encirclement. Well, Central Asia's North Korea is pushed back. You need to be invited to go there, I think. Well, and then to the country that has been, well, shifting allegiance. Uzbekistan. Well, with forces being forced to leave Uzbekistan and leave there. Well, somehow, Afghanistan got overthrown and has a new government who joins the blue team. But they did give that option without losing land. Well, they entered into southern Kazakhstan. Well, then they push out into Kazakhstan. And they take over the nation of Kazakhstan. And China completely loses all naval dominance, so basically, you don't need to show naval dominance. Well, Russia gets whipped. And whipped even more. With Volgograd taken. And the goal is to take all populated areas. So they go up to the east of the Urals to encircle the forces so they can continue their campaign into this area. Well, they managed to cut the Ural Mountains off so they can sweep in. Well, Russia's military at this point is now completely destroyed. Well, all of this is occupied when, a place that calls itself the Republic of Siberia declares independence. Which they then join the blue team. But does nothing because it has no military. Gives Japan that island, and then, Russia falls. Yep, Russia fell. And that's enough yeps. And they're completely kicked out of there. China's economy is completely collapsing. Then China has this brilliant idea. Where they just surrender. The trick is, they gotta keep land. They annex Mongolia. How come they gotta do that? Manchuria is split in two. It's then split between the United Korea, which unified all right. Siberia annexes a big chunk of it. That's it. China's next term. Xinjiang has gave independence. And Tibet has gave independence. In exchange for not getting, economic parts destroyed. Well, Thailand takes some land. Vietnam and Thailand split, well, Laos and Cambodia, because, well, they can. And they say because they can. Well, I think I said that about 50 times this video. They think because they can. But because they can. Nouns, nouns, nouns. Well, this YouTube channel is great. Like, subscribe. Let's see. What is the name of this country? Peoples need Nope, I'm renaming the country. An entire nation. Well, I think it's obvious what people need to do. Well, if you don't subscribe in that country, they just toss you in jail and all of your family. You probably want to subscribe because a low number of people are subscribed. The new Myanmar government is a lot better at stability. No, the old one is put back in charge. Well, then a big chunk of them are annexed. But they get a big chunk to annex. And while the peoples need to subscribe, well, didn't demilitarize like the term specifically said. But you know, subscribe, and maybe they will. They won't until 100 billion people subscribe, they said. So, subscribe. Well, subscribe. There's a million ways to say subscribe, but it all means subscribe to this channel. And, well, I need to get rid of the color on these because, well, they're already signed treaties. Well, now we go from the Treaty of Beijing to the Treaty of Tehran. The Middle East Treaty is the Treaty of Tehran. Well, they continue. And to continue, well, Turkey takes big chunks of land because, well, Turkey is a bit greedy. I guess that's why turkeys say gobble gobble. Maybe, potentially. And well, a new Mesopotamian state is made. Hey, Kuwait gets oil. Qatar gains land. Oman gains land because, well, Oman, they lost land. Well, the Treaty of Tehran isn't over yet. Well, Kuwait has a huge supply of oil now. Irako-Syrian Union, which they start to call Mesopotamia, because why not? Mesopotamia. And well, Well, they become a world power, Turkey does. America isn't happy that they have oil over this. Well, I guess maybe them and Canada and a North American Civil War wouldn't team up. As well, they're the same team. Opposite teams, maybe, because, well, Turkey annexes Crimea and annexes this big chunk of Russia. Saudi Arabia and Oman have one more treaty left to sign, which is a big deal. Finally, since 2011, Yemen gets to be in a state of peace, which is not its own country. Well, I mean, it is a good ending. You get peace. Isn't that the best endings possible? Peace. Well, now to the Treaty of Baku. Yes, why does that have such a bad name? Well, because it does. Well, that's funny. That's the wrong color. And well, they annex even more land. And they become rich. They just become rich and rich and rich. Azerbaijan somehow gets to annex all of Armenia. Because, well, they did. And then they do more stuff. They get more land. Everyone's happy. Well, Azerbaijan's like, hey, Iran. What? Iran. See, Iran. They say Iran because, look, they ran. Now they have a glorious empire. Well, the new government in Afghanistan gets a tiny bit of land, but then is like super greedy and takes all this, and then takes all that. India takes a lot of land, but leaves Pakistan as an independent country. And well, it looks very wrong. After losing 90% of its land, Afghanistan finally has good borders and a stable country. Well, a big change happens in this region of the world. Well, Uzbekistan takes like all this land, and then adds all this land, and then adds all this land to them, and then Siberia is like boom. And well, they're all booming in land. Not all, some are having bad problems, but we're not talking about them. Well, the Treaty of Kabul is being signed right now. Here. Well, this is great. Well, due to the video I made yesterday, well, I have some news. Well, Ukraine has continued its attacks, pushing, well, Russia back, which is great. Well, they unite. Pakistan, Iran, and, well, unite. And they unite. They call it the Third Persian Empire. Well, some country, Japan didn't get that island over us. Well, peoples need to subscribe. That's a pretty cool country. NATO subscribing helps, well, people with freedom. And you know what else subscribing does? It makes me happy. We're at 34 subscribers. My next special is at 50 subscribers. And we'll have a 50 subscribers special. 50 subscriber special. If you want to see that special, well, get everyone you know to subscribe because we can get to 50. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. And 50 subscribers. Because peoples need to subscribe. Peoples need to subscribe. It's a real country now. Yep. A real country. Definitely not People's Republic of China. Well, this is how big the country is. And, well, one more thing. Well, this is what the nation's flag looks like, a flag map. And please subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Wild Mapper out.